Have you ever felt like you're doing amazing work, but it's just not getting the support it needs to fly? Well, the secret might not be in the work itself, but in how you manage the people around the work. So let's get right into it. This is your practical playbook for mastering stakeholder influence, making sure your projects succeed, and honestly, making you way more effective in your career.
Here's what we're going to cover. First, the absolute basics. Who even are these stakeholders? Then, we'll get strategic and map them out. After that, we dive into the psychology, the secret weapon, really. And finally, we'll walk through a step-by-step guide for nailing every single interaction you have.
And to get us started, just look at this. A wild statistic from Harvard Business Review. If managers don't even know what 60% of their own teams are doing, just imagine how much of your hard work is completely invisible to the wider circle of people who can either champion your projects or, well, let them fail. This is exactly why managing your stakeholders isn't just a nice little skill to have, it is absolutely critical.
Okay, so how do we fight that invisibility problem? We have to start with the foundation. You can't influence anyone if you don't even know who you're supposed to be talking to.
The definition here is pretty simple, but it's incredibly powerful. A stakeholder is anyone, a person, a team, another company, who has a vested interest in what you're doing. And here's the key. It's a two-way street. They can affect your work, and your work definitely affects them.
And you can basically split them into two big groups. You've got your internal stakeholders. These are the people inside your company. Your team, your boss, executives. And then you have the external ones, everyone on the outside, like your customers, your suppliers, maybe even government regulators. Both groups are super important, but they care about very, very different things.
All right, knowing who they are is step one. But let's be real. You can't give every single person the same amount of your time and energy. It's just not possible. And that's where strategy comes in. It's all about focusing your effort where it's going to make the biggest difference.
And this right here, the influence interest grid, is going to be your new best friend for doing just that. It's super simple. On one axis, you map out how much power or influence they have. Can they make decisions, control the budget, that sort of thing. Then on the other axis, you map out how much they actually care about your specific project. And once you start plotting people on this grid, 4 very clear strategies pop out. Top right, high influence and high interest. These are your key players. This is your project sponsor, your boss. You need to manage them closely and keep them fully engaged. Top left, high influence but low interest. We need to keep satisfied. Give them what they need, but don't bother them with every little detail. Bottom right, low influence but high interest. Keep them informed. These folks can be your biggest cheerleaders. And bottom left, low influence and low interest. Those are your marginal players. Just monitor them, but with minimal effort.
But here's the thing. A map is just a map. To really influence people, you have to go beyond the chart and tap into the single most powerful driver of human behavior there is, and that's emotion.
Let's just look at some numbers from Gallup for a second. Get this, 86% of customers who feel a positive emotional connection to a brand will do business with them again.
And on top of that, 74% of those same people will become brand advocates. They'll actively go out and promote the brand for you for free.
Now, this is the one that really gets me. The difference between a top performer at work and just an average one, 90% of that difference comes down to emotional intelligence, or EI, which is really just your ability to get what's going on with your own emotions and, just as important, to recognize and influence the emotions of others. It's not about what you do, it's about how you make people feel. And this chart illustrates the difference perfectly. We're always so focused on the functional needs, right? We need to exchange this information, or we need to solve this problem. But underneath all of that are the real drivers, the emotional needs. Does this person feel safe talking to you? Do they trust you? Do they feel a genuine connection with you? That is where real influence comes from.
So let's pull all of this together. We know who our stakeholders are, we know how to prioritize them, and we know why connecting with them on an emotional level is the key. Now for the final piece of the playbook, a concrete tool you can use to nail every single interaction.
This is the Stakeholder Journey Map. The idea is that every conversation you have moves through 4 stages. Number 1, greet and connect. This is where you address all those emotional needs we just talked about. You set a positive tone, you build a little rapport. Number 2, exchange information. And the key here is to listen way more than you talk. What are their real needs, not just the ones on the surface? 3 is agreement. This isn't about you winning an argument. It's about finding a solution together and building that crucial trust. And finally, number 4, closure. You clarify the next steps, you show real appreciation for their time, and you make sure they leave feeling heard and valued. If you master this flow, any old meeting becomes a powerful relationship-building moment.
So I'll leave you with this challenge. Think about that grid we looked at. Who is your single most important key player? Got him in your head? Okay. Now, what is one simple action you're going to take this week? Not to ask for something, but just to strengthen that relationship, to better understand what they need. Because that, right there, is where real influence begins.